Aloha, beautifuls. Welcome to the Woman Unleashed online retreat. My name is Amber Quile Mailani Benici, and I am your host. And today, we have some delicious art making happening with my mermaid sister, Chris Zydel. Welcome, Chris.
Hey, Amber. Love.
Those kisses can be meant for all of us. Thank you,
They're
Chris.
universal love kisses for everybody.
Okay, yeah. So Chris and I, whenever we do recording sessions, always yeah, we get to hang out. You're gonna have a great time. We're gonna have a great time together. So just make sure for today's session that you have for your materials, you can have your One Unleashed journal, medium to large size art journal. You can have your favorite coloring goodies, art supplies of your choice. I'm working with oil pastels. You can do paints, you can do colored pencils, brush pens, whatever you got. Bring them. We're good. And let's go ahead and get present before we dive in, okay? So first, just take a moment. Any lingering energy, things that have been going on that are on your mind, let's inhale in. Exhale and release. Noticing if there's anything to come in the future that you're worried about that's keeping you from this moment. Inhaling in. Exhale and release. Third and final breath, smelling this moment together. And release. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. So I can introduce you to our mermaid sister, Chris Zydel, our session guide today. So Chris Zydel, she is Wild Heart Queen. She is the head creative goddess at Creative Juices Arts. So she has over 39 years of experience as a compassionate creativity guide and believes that in a couple of things. Like one is that creativity is used for healing, which is part of what we're doing today, as well as creativity is for all. There is no one who's not creative, and she helps everyone tap into those creative juices. She has a certification program. She also does in-person retreats and workshops all over that have been super fun. I've seen like pictures of like people covered in art supplies, stuff everywhere. She creates the magic in her space, but today she's creating it with us. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And it's so fun to be here with you. And I love you so much. And I love that we are sisters of the creative source. It's just so beautiful to connect with you on this level. So yay!
Yay! Yeah. So one of the things that I noticed is that, you and I, we sat down, we're like, okay, what are we going to do this session? And it's always fun because we kind of heartstrom and then we're like, oh, well, this is supposed to be what we're supposed to do. And we were talking about part of the Women Unleashed retreat during this season is about taking action. It's about movement, right? It's not just about visioning what you want, but it's also about the movement and things that have to happen. And one of the things that stops us from taking action is our old stuff, right? Just stuff that's just that old shit that's just hanging out. And in order to get moving, in order to create momentum, in order to really step into a new way of being, we have to let go of the old. And so that's kind of like where we started. We're like, oh, what juicy thing could we do today? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And yeah, so just wanted to kind of talk about that whole process of, so we can't move forward until we have released, the things that are holding us back. And a lot of what holds us back are old identities, old ways of being, kind of roles and, I don't know, strategies. I mean, there's just different ways that we've identified ourselves. And I mean, sometimes it can be the kind of thing where, we've done something for a while. I was thinking about like when you are like when you're a business owner. And when you're a new business owner, you have like a certain way of being in relationship to your business. And maybe it's kind of stressful and it's exciting and scary, and but you're really on this new track. And then, you know, Amber and I have been talking about how like we're not there anymore. I mean, that's really not, you know, we're at a different place in our businesses. But there's still that old part of you, you know, that old part of you that you might still have some attachment to. You know, so we're really looking at like, what are the places that you're still attached, certain identities that you're still attached to, certain things that you're still kind of holding on to because they're familiar, you know, or because you do have an attachment to them, like you're having a hard time letting go. I mean, I know one of the things for me and is the whole aging thing, you know, and for all of us that's going on, you know, I mean, we're all getting older. And so what does it mean to kind of recognize that the younger self is not really, you know, who's here now, you know, we're at a different place. And so there can be a lot of like ways that we get tripped up because we're not acknowledging those older selves, you know, or those older identities or those older ways of being with love, you know. So one of the things that I really wanted to look at was, you know, sometimes we just hold on to them because we just have a really hard time letting go. And sometimes we reject them, you know. So there's something about really recognizing when you're in this place of transition, because a lot of us are in transition right now. There's like really, really huge changes that are going on in everybody's lives. And a lot of those transitions mean that we have to shift who we think we are, you know, and shift our relationship to our own identities. And how do we honor those old identities? You know, how do we honor those things? How do we love those things? How do we kind of respond to those things in a way that is very compassionate, you know, and is very caring and very loving as we release them? So that was one of the things I really wanted to work with today. And then also moving from that into what's new, you know, what is it that's coming? So I wanted to do a little meditation. I wanted to do some art around that and maybe do a little writing. And then, you know, Amber and I always share about what's coming up for us as we do this work. So yeah, that's kind of the overview, and just that recognition that, you know, those things that we're letting go of, we often have grief around them. You know, like I know for myself, like I can look at the younger self, you know, that I was, you know, and I grieve her, but I can also honor her, and I can also celebrate her as I let go of her and move into something new, you know, move into a more expanded version of myself, which includes, you know, becoming an elder in my case, but, you know, everybody's going to have whatever it is that they're dealing with. Okay. So
I'm so excited. It's just such perfect timing, like based on our conversation.
Oh, really? Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just based on our conversations, and it's like there's always the release for the new, and I think that sometimes it's. I know for myself, I can get clogged up and I don't even realize it. So what a beautiful gift you're giving us, Chris, today, you know, to even look at things that maybe are women, you know, maybe you don't even know that you're holding on to that's taking up space. So.
Exactly, right. Well, because I was thinking about, like, even, you know, like I don't have children, but I know you do, you know, and a lot of women on this call are mothers, you know, and like every time your child, you know, goes into a new phase in their lives, when they get older, you have to shift your identity in relationship to that. And it's letting go of them as a younger being, and it's letting go of your identity as a mother in relationship to a 5-year-old, as to 11-year-old. You know, I mean, so there's all these different things that we're constantly in that vortex of change. And so, how do we do that gracefully? How do we do that with consciousness? And how do we do that with compassion? You know, so that's really what I wanted to bring, you know, to the circle today, and to all of you beautiful women out there, you know, who we're all on this same journey together. So I wanted to just start with kind of doing a little bit of an inner exploration, you know, via a meditation. So to kind of get comfy and let yourself get relaxed. And drop your attention inside, and just take a moment just to notice where you are, what you're feeling, what's happening in your body right now. Just allowing yourself to feel your feet on the floor, to feel your butt in the chair, to feel your hands in your lap, to feel your breath coming in and out of your body. And so I want you just to allow yourself to open your heart and open your imagination to where you are in your life right now. And what is it what transition are you in? What is it that is changing for you? What is it that is dying? What is it that is needing to be released? What version of yourself are you needing to let go of? And as I ask those questions, I want you to just tune into what arises. What is it that comes up for you in terms of a feeling, in terms of an understanding, and in terms of a symbol? Is there some symbol that's coming up for you, some color, some shape, something that really speaks to this part of you that you have loved, that you have grown attached to, and that is now asking to be released? So just allowing yourself to be in that place of allowing that wisdom from your intuitive source to guide you. And try not to reject what shows up, even if it doesn't make any sense. Even if it's something that you didn't expect. And one of the things we're trying to do is be open to the mystery as much as possible. So then from this place, simply being with whatever spirit has given you, whatever your intuition has given you, I want you to open your eyes and come to your art supplies, come to your journal, and take your whatever it is that you have brought to the session, and then allow yourself to bring the vision that you saw, to bring the symbol that you saw, to bring the feeling that you saw to the page in front of you using color and shape and image. And let's see what shows up. And again, make space for the mystery to unfold. As your image is unfolding on the page, it might look like what you saw in your mind, or it might turn into something else. So again, we're continuing to trust our intuition. And we're continuing to ask ourselves, what is it that we're letting go of? What is it that we are asking Spirit to help us release? And as you make this image, as you allow this image to be born, notice any feelings you might be having. Is there any grief that is coming up? Is there any hesitation? Is there any part of you that's saying, no, no, I don't want to let go of that, not yet? And just allow that to be there. As you continue to feel and to express. And to allow the creative energies to do their magic. Just allow it to continue to unfold. Allow yourself to be surprised. Just notice what it's inviting you to let go of. It might be letting go of an old pattern that you have, an old way of being in the world. Something that you're really, really ready to release, but that you've grown attached to because it's so familiar. And just continuing to make space. Make space for the letting go to happen. Mm-hmm. So take another couple of minutes to kind of finish up what it is that you're doing. To finish up your expression here on the page. Again, allowing yourself to continue to feel what you feel without judgment, being present, holding space for yourself. And take another minute just to finish it up, whatever it is that you're doing. And then just take a moment just to sit with it, just to kind of sit with what is it that came out of you. You know, what is it that you're feeling? And now I want you to just take like a pen or a pencil or even one of your oil pastels and write thank you, thanking her for what it is that she gave you, what it is that you appreciate about this role, about this pattern, about this part of you, this identity that you are letting go of. So what is it about her that you are going to miss, but that you also can really appreciate? So bringing some love to her. So we're just writing her a little thank you note. What is it that you need to appreciate her for? And then to release her. Just allow yourself to release her. Okay. So do you want to share what came up for you, sweetie?
Yeah, totally. So not what I was expecting.
I know, it's so great. Creativity is so great that way. It's like, what?
Okay, that's not what I thought was coming. Okay. You know, it's interesting when we were talking about release and like I had all these different ideas of things I'm going through. And then my image, of course, it came in, there's not even words really for like where I feel like I'm going through. But I feel like I'm being asked to heal my heart at a deeper level than I ever have before. And there's some cracks that have been running deeply for a long time. I think it actually connects to my mother's death. That's what I was getting. So my image is of a heart with lava. Like, so the cracks are here, but then lava is now like coming out of it and like exploding out of it. And it's actually then expanding my heart because it's like, it's, yeah, it's growing, right? So that was my image, and obviously very connected to, you know, the volcano right over here too, but it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Wow. So was there anything that came up in the invitation to thank her? Was there anything that, you know, came up in terms of like, you know, what you wanted to thank her for, like that?
Yeah, it felt like, or I thanked her for protecting me until my flow was ready to come out, right? It felt like there was this part of me that had kept my heart protected. Yeah. But now, like with the flow coming out, I don't need to be protected from like falling into the cracks. It's like, nope, it's getting filled and stuff's running over. So.
Oh, sweetie, that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because it's just so important to acknowledge the gifts that those patterns and those ways of being gave us. You know, I mean, they're not bad. They're just time to move on, you know, time to shift and to transform. They're just a time to transform. Oh, okay. So
okay, now I'm ready for yours. Share yours, Kat.
Yes, of course, totally surprised. So this is a tree, and you know, and what it was for me was well, this sense of an old identity, so this old identity of kind of the really strong, person who is sheltering and taking care of a lot of different people, and very grounded and very, there's a sense of power, and a sense of strength. And, and a big heart. I mean, there's a really big heart. But the thing about it is that that strength is starting to feel like a cage for me. Like I've got feeling like I always have to be so strong. I always have to be so responsible. I always have to be, taken care of so much. And so there's something about really releasing that, really releasing that old identity, that old way of being, because it's too small for me right now, there's something bigger than that that's coming. And so it was very tender for me, especially when I was writing the thank you note. And I said, thank you for your strength, for your formidableness. I mean, somebody had described me as formidable at one point. And I didn't take that as a negative thing. I mean, I got it that there was just like this power, that I brought. Your ability to do the impossible, to push and make things happen against all odds. I mean, so that was a big part of that identity for me. And it's time to let that go so that I can be in more ease, so I can be in more of a state of allowing. It's not all up to me. So there's just this tenderness that I was feeling towards her and towards that woman, that younger woman who did that and was able to prove herself in those ways and was able to be that, that strong tree. And now, letting her go.
I love that.
No, yeah, so tender. It's so tender, yeah. So I just really want to appreciate and acknowledge the tenderness in both of us and with the circle, so all of you out there who have also gotten in touch with this thing, whatever it is that you're releasing, and to hold that with so much respect and honor and love, that those patterns, like, again, they really served us. They really served us really well. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. This has been so good. I feel it's like the honoring of that side of ourselves, and then also the making space, for new things to come. And I just want to invite you, if you were inviting you, it's not a request, or we're not making you do it, but if you would like to share in the Facebook group your drawing, what came up for you, what you're releasing, what you're grateful for, what you're thankful for, we'd love to see that in the Facebook group. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think there's something really powerful about naming it and expressing it, and making it visible, I mean, because that's what we do here in this Women Unleashed program, is to make all of the inner world visible, through art, and then to share it, I mean, because there was something about, like, I noticed as I was doing the drawing, and feeling like that opening in myself around doing it, and then the writing of the thank you note opened me up to a deeper level, and then sharing it with Amber was just like a whole, I could feel like the tears starting to happen. It's just like, oh my God, there's something so precious here. So I want to invite all of you in the circle to give yourself that opportunity to be witnessed and to be seen, in the circle of your sisters, in the Facebook group, because there's something so powerfully healing about that.
And I just want to speak to also, like, I came from a place of not doing art for a long time because I had, I was told when I was young that I wasn't an artist, so I stopped doing art. And I remember when I first started putting my stuff out there, it was so scary. Like, I felt real, like, terror actually putting anything online or letting anyone see my work. And just letting you, like, knowing that we've created a community, like our Women Unleashed community is meant to be a nurturing, nest of love for your creations, whatever stage they're at, wherever you're at. And we love you. So I can't wait to see them. This has been amazing, Chris.
Oh, honey. Well, I mean, you're so welcome. And again, you know, when you invited me to do this, and I'm always like, I'm kind of the queen of simplicity. But there's something so powerful in that, you know. I mean, again, it's not anything real fancy, or it's just this thing about, okay, let's feel and create and share and open. I mean, it's just, you know, and there's something just so deeply powerful. And I love what you said about, like, the community is what heals too. You know, I mean, it's one thing to do these things with ourselves and for ourselves, but to bring it out into a circle of loving, you know, eyes and witnesses and hearts is just so powerful. And I love what you've created here with Women Unleashed. And I feel that between us too, you know, that I was really able to hold space in my heart for you, and you were able to hold space in your heart for me, you know. And so it's kind of modeling that for the circle, you know, the bigger circle. So.
Yeah. And I, you know, there was something, the piece about simplicity, but like, let's just keep it real here, Chris. Like, you have 39 years of experience of doing this stuff. Like, you know what works.
Yeah. Well, that is a good point. No, it's true. I know. I'll be in my casket, and I'll be doing workshops with people as they're walking by, like, you know, like, how does this make you feel? You know, here, go do some art about that. Like,
you know, if it works, let's do it. You know, we don't need to overcomplicate it.
Oh, darling. Yeah.
So, women, we'd love for you to share in the Facebook group, and then, you know, this process, like, and start to also, I would invite you, when you share now, to start to notice over the next few days, like, what's shifting for you, right? There's going to be a release, but then there's always, once you create space, something comes in, right? So, so be aware of what that shift is, and noticing how things are now moving differently in that, you know. And then, Chris, I know you have something for our ladies to continue their creative art making experience.
I do. I have something for you all. So it's a little ebook that I created. It has a very long title. I'm going to read it because I can never remember it, but it's 7, the magic number 7, heart-centered principles, spirit-based practices, and simple action steps for leading a wildly creative, deeply authentic, and magically intuitive life. So
you don't need to simplify that title. It's cool, Chris.
I know. I'm trying to cut it down. It's like, I mean, like, I have to say it all. So, so what it is, it's like, it's these 7 principles and practices and that you can, you know, kind of work with. I mean, it's a little workbook. And, you know, to bring some of these creativity and spiritual principles into your life, you know. So it's fun, it's colorful, it's a little irreverent and wacky, you know, like I am, and of course, and it's also very, very healing. So anyway, that's it. You can have it. I'd love for you to use it and play with it, and, you know, do whatever you do with it. So yeah.
Yeah, so the link is right below here, the link for the ebook. But one thing I also want to say, and I'm glad that you said it, Chris, is that, like, we just did a very beautiful, tender process, right, of release. But Chris is, like, you know, remember, like, the name of, like, her business is, like, what is it? Creative Juices Arts. Like, she is, like, juicy lady. And so she's got, like, all sorts of, you know, this is, like, one little facet. And I know that in your ebook, you're going to see, like, so many other different ways to, like, tap into that juiciness. So thanks, Chris.
Oh, you're so welcome, honey. You're so welcome. And it's just fun to share. And, you know, I love that we get to do this, you know, that we get to do this, and we get to help other women access this same place, because it's just so juicy and so good. Yeah. And again, kind of speaking to what Amber was saying too, to be really tender with yourself after these processes, they seem like they are simple, but they go deep. They really go deep. And it is that thing about making, you know, something, it's like letting go of something that has already died so that something can be reborn, you know, because that's really the next phase of this. That'll be our next workshop. But right now we're just in the death process and acknowledging that. Yeah. So. Yeah.
I love that. To be continued. Okay.
Right. Exactly. phase 2.
Awesome. So again, the links below here. Post in the Facebook group your thing, what you're working on and what you're releasing. This new linking space for the new things to be coming in. Chris, thank you so much.
You're welcome, honey. Mwah. Love you so much.
Chris, my mermaid sister. She's our mermaid friend.
Yes, you are. Okay. And love you all of you fabulous women out there. And keep creating and keep releasing.
A woman, sister, a woman. So we'll see you on our next session, everyone. Much aloha.
Bye.